Hey modders, welcome back to ModifedRoll. Don't forget we're sponsored by DM Dice. Check out the link to their website in our description, or head over to dmdice.co.uk and use the code ModifedRoll for 10% off all purchases. In the last episode, all the members of the party got to meet for the first time. Introductions were made as they all discovered they were heading the same way, following the same advertisement for adventurers. They bed down, planning to travel on the road together in the morning. But in the morning, their plans are put on hold as screams pierce the air of the small village. A brief battle ensues, where the party discover that the bandits attacking this village aren't all they appear to be. We join them now as they attempt to investigate and figure out exactly what's going on. In ModifedRoll Season 2, Episode 2, Choices. So you examine the bodies, and where you would normally expect, such as like soldiers dressed like these, to wear some sort of insignia or marking. These guys don't have anything. Even most bandit groups that you would expect would have some sort of identifier, so they don't start killing each other in the midst of combat. These soldiers wear nothing like that. In fact, the only thing of value they seem to be carrying is a simple ring, which each of them are wearing on the middle finger of their left hand. It's a simple silver band with a cracked purple jewel at its centre. But with a natural 20 on one of the soldiers, you actually find a missive, which details their mission. Travel to the villages in the south and round up any villagers you can find. Only bring harm to those who attempt to defend themselves, and only kill those who manage to kill one or more of your number. Once you've gathered everyone in the village, return to the meeting point for transport. And the bottom of the missive is marked with a seal you don't recognise.
Whilst he's looking, I'll start looking over the bodies, because I kind of want to see if there's anything I can take. Like anything.
Oh my god.
I mean, like a bit of a body, or like an item they were carrying?
A bit of a body?
Like a bit of a body. Yeah.
My first kill.
Yeah, it's my spoils of my first battle.
Like, give me a clue here. Like, are you wanting to cut off an ear or a finger, or you want to pull out a tooth? Like, what? Like, why? How dark are you getting?
Like a tooth. Yeah, like a tooth.
Good gods.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess one of the guys who got punched by Cecil had one of his teeth knocked out.
Cool. I'll pick up the tooth and hold it up and be like, my first spoil of war. And then put it in my little pouch.
I will just give a blank look.
Sinclair, roll me a constitution check.
That's 2.
Yeah, you see her picking up a tooth, holding it aloft and going, my spoils of war, and you just...
And he just regained his composure as well.
Anna's just going to turn to Twilight and go, you're hardcore.
Threw up the horns.
Yeah. And then she's gonna. Can she get any of her arrows back?
I'm not going to be a dick about tracking ammunition and stuff. So unless we're doing like a long-term fucking wilderness adventure, assume that you can get a hold of arrows.
Nice. Then she's gonna. I don't even know what to do now. She's not gonna loot people for teeth. She's gonna take. Did she see the ring?
So Cecil is the only one who's carried out an investigation check. Do you point these things that you found out to the rest of the group?
I will grab one of the rings and bring it to the group and say, and I'll point out that, look, all of these bodies have this one ring. They didn't have anything else to signify where they're from or who they're working with, or if they're by themselves. This is the only thing they've all shared.
And as a bit of a reminder, the ring itself seems to be made of a silver band, and the gem in it is a purple gem. Actually, to be fair, being an amethyst dragonborn, you recognize this as some form of amethyst, but it is currently cracked. And if you were to check any of the other soldiers, all of their rings have cracked as well.
Okay, Sinclair, regaining his composure finally, is going to approach the bodies, and he's going to put his hands together, look towards the sky. His eyes are then going to glow, and he's going to use Divine Sense, and he's going to see if there's any traces of fiendish behaviour or celestial or undead in the area.
Oh, that's something I didn't actually consider for this. Is it just sensing the presence of fiendish celestial or like creature types or something? Okay, in that case, no, you don't sense any of that.
Okay.
Oh. Anna's just gonna turn to everyone and go, ooh.
Sorry, I just like the image of Sinclair going over, standing in the middle of all these bodies, just raising his hands, his eyes going glowing bright white, and then stopping as the glow stops, and he goes, shrugs his shoulders.
It's more of a silent, does a bit like what I'm doing now, which is, pulls at the bottom of his beard, just thinks.
Sorry, what was Anna doing?
Just before I say anything, did we share the note that they had? So
I would assume Casisa would have read the note about what it said.
Okay.
I'd have done that when I brought the ring back for me.
Brilliant. She's gonna go, so, do we think that they have like a load of people somewhere? Maybe we should go and check that there's not like a group of people just being held hostage sometimes. But, if you guys just don't want to do something else, then I'm down for that as well. But maybe we should go and check that.
I think this is certainly good evidence for us to take to the Lord at Valor's Keep, if that's still where we're going to head.
I mean, they could, if the Lord themselves doesn't know anything about it, maybe they know someone who might know if these rings will have any significance to them.
Somebody must know of that symbol.
It may be identifying, yes.
Someone will.
Yeah, we should probably go and, let's go and check.
I think you're right, though. I think we should check the local area first, make sure there's no more of these things around before I won't feel good of mind until we check for leaving this place. It'll just weigh on my mind. I think we should check.
Completely agree.
We're all in agreement? Fantastic.
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Yeah.
And with that, I will just pick my hand axe out of the body that's on the floor.
Sinclair, make another constitution.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, that's all right. That's a 15.
Okay, you hear the of the axe coming out.
It's the kind of...
No, I'm okay. So I'm assuming you head towards the northern end of the village where these people seem to come from then?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to, if everyone starts walking, I'm just going to stand and try and do what Sinclair did, like, walk up and be like, glow! And then nothing happens. And then just walk.
Fair enough. You all get to the end of the road, you round the corner, and towards the northern end of the town is a small bridge leading over. It's more of a brook than an actual stream, but just on this side of that bridge is what appears to be a caged wagon with only a handful of the soldiers currently on the ground and several of the villagers. There's a bit of a commotion. They're all sort of arguing about what to do. You can see the 3 soldiers who were there, 2 of which are dead, 1 of which has been knocked unconscious by the villagers. The cage has had the door broken off of it, and you can see several women and children being comforted, and even several of the men who were apparently been a bit roughed up are being looked at and comforted by some of the other villagers who haven't seemed to be involved in the conflict.
Okay, Sinclair is immediately going to advance towards them. And does there look like there's anyone in the group who's almost, taking charge? Like they're making sure everyone's all right?
To be fair, yeah, a couple of them. There's a couple of the women who are sort of tending to the injured and sort of directing sort of relief efforts, sort of directing other people, you go and get us some fresh bandages, you go and get us some warm water to clean the wounds. And there's a couple of the men are sort of gathered around this unconscious soldier, and a few others are dragging the dead ones to the side of the road.
Okay, so Sinclair's going to join the guys who are looking over the body. So, what do you fellas make of it?
They sort of look about, and you can tell you've sort of approached them in the middle of an argument, and just as you approach, one of them says, "I think we should kill him now before he wakes up." And as you get there, the other one's sort of placating him. He's like, "If we kill him, we can't ask him any questions." And bloody insanity is what we make of it. We've never seen these people before in our lives. They just turned up, started throwing people in the back of that God's damned wagon. And as soon as one of us tried to defend ourselves, they tried to cut us down.
We found a note on one of them. It was to gather the folk from this village and only kill those who resist. Somebody is gathering people and wants them alive.
So one of them, the one who was offered to kill the dead man's like, then we should kill this one before he gets up and reports what happened here.
By my likening, I'm not sure any of these people are actually alive. While we were fighting them, they all turned in unison, almost like undead. It was disturbing.
One of them, the one who's a bit more calm in the situation, sort of nods like, we noticed it as well. As soon as one of us turned to defend ourselves, they all turned on him in unison, beat him down until he couldn't move, and then moved on to the next person.
Indeed. Yes, if they're not undead, they're certainly being controlled by one central person, and I'll tell you now, I intend to find out who this is, put a stop to it.
Can I have a look at the ring on this guy?
Yeah, if you inspect the ring of the unconscious man, you'll discover it is the same, but uncracked.
What happens if I try and remove the ring?
So are you just going to pull the ring off?
I'm going to attempt to try and pull the ring off, but if there's too much resistance, I won't.
No, it comes free. Like, it comes off like a normal ring. You know, it's fitted to his hand, so you have to get it over the knuckle, but it's not stuck there or anything. But as you pull it off, his back arcs, his eyes shoot open, and he screams in agony. His eyes bulging, his face turning red, and the veins sticking out on his throat and neck. He screams and screams and screams until he collapses dead. And as that happens, as soon as the ring comes free of his finger, you hear an audible as the jewel cracks.
Oh.
Guess that's the significance of these rings then.
I have an idea. Maybe next time we just chop the finger off. And then maybe that won't happen. That's just an idea, though. Maybe not. I just because Twilight seems to be into that type of thing. Maybe she can do it.
Listen, I'm not into dismemberment. I just read a book about this woman who had a necklace of teeth and she sounded really cool. So I was like, maybe I could also be cool, But we'll see.
Oh.
Yeah, Sinclair kind of shivers at that thought.
You and me both, Sinclair. Twilight, I'm going to need you to calm down on the human body parts jewellery.
Yes, I got to admit, I might have to stop you on that. I don't think the big man upstairs is going to quite like you adorning yourself with people's body parts.
Well, I didn't really worship the big man upstairs, so...
It's a good question. How would Selune feel about this? Yeah, how would... I'm gonna have to give a quick think into how Selune would feel about dismemberment. I can't imagine it's great.
I mean, it was a man. Screw men.
What's your alignment, Maddie?
I think it's chaotic neutral.
Yeah, we'll circle back to this one. I will give you... It falls into the alignment, but we'll have to circle back to this one to see what Selune thinks.
I'm sure she'll have something
after I've given it some thought. I'm sure she will. She'll have words. So, you have pulled the ring off this man. He's dead. The one who was voting to murder him looks not so much smug as relieved, and wanders off to help with the... Essentially, they're pulling all the other soldiers' bodies together to prepare to put them on a pyre or something. So he goes to assist with that. The man you were speaking to sort of shakes his head and shrugs and says, well, there's no way of knowing that was going to happen, but not likely to get much more information out of them now.
I have a feeling either way we wouldn't have gotten any information out of him. This is more information than they would have been able to give either way.
He shrugs and says, it's beyond my ken, that is. But I know that, and he points towards the caged wagon, had to come from somewhere. Same as the rest of these men.
Yes, indeed. Now the question is, and he sort of, looks to the rest of the... Sinclair looks to the rest of the party. The question is, do we search for tracks for this wagon now, or do we take the evidence to Valor's Keep?
I mean, as tempting as looking at the tracks is, I feel like that's one step backwards and we need to go forward. So maybe...
I feel like if we can... I'm sorry to interfere, but I think if we can take these rings for someone to look at, someone by the looks of things, there's some sort of arcane power of this. If we can get someone to have a look at these and find a way to break what these rings are doing, and see if there's anything deeper behind these.
Does anyone show the missive to anyone else, or you just describe what's written in it?
I'll just show it.
The man you're talking to looks it over and says, That's the symbol. Like that symbol at the bottom, that's the sigil of the knight in Knight's Valor Keep."
Ooh. Oh, wow. That is very helpful information.
Thank you.
I don't understand why. Maybe it's a forgery. The Lord of the Keep has always been good. He's always protected us. I don't understand why something like this would have happened.
The Lord of Keep is obviously not currently of sound mind. Sinclair is going to resheath his sword because he still hadn't done it. I will find this information out for you.
I think we all will.
Please, yeah, if you could find something may have happened to him. Please look into it. I don't understand why this would have happened.
I think it is time to depart. Do you have weapons here to defend yourselves, say, if they come back?
You sort of see them as sort of like staring into nothing for a minute. He says, yes, we can hold ourselves up in the town, set up barricades. We have basic weapons, spears. We can make do with some pitchforks if they do come back. But I doubt you will probably get to the keep faster than they could send any more soldiers down anyway.
True, but have some men on alert just in case.
We will. We'll keep an eye on the road. There's only one road in from the north, and it comes directly from Knight's Valor.
Good. That makes me feel safer about leaving you. But we will find the meaning of this. Don't you worry.
Would anyone else like to do anything in the village, or are you guys going to head off?
Can I just double check the carts just in case there's anything in there?
Yeah, you can have a look over it. It seems to be just a basic, to be used for transporting prisoners and criminals and stuff. It is just a basic wagon with some iron bars and a top on it. There's nothing else inside of it. You can tell that the door has been damaged in an effort to get it open.
Okay, yeah, I'm good to go if everyone else is good to go.
Yeah, I don't see
Yes, I think it's time.
I'm just sat there just looking at this ring, and I'll just nod.
I mean, you're not really a magic caster, but you want to roll an Arcana check, just have a quick inspection of it, because you are sort of, a gem dragonborn. You have some affinity towards gemstones and the like.
18.
You, even for a monk, well, maybe a monk more than any other martial class, you can feel the flow of energy, the flow of chi, something you've been trained to do, and you can feel the flow of the different energies throughout the world around you, one of those being the weave of magic, which runs and ribbons and intertwines and interweaves with the world around you and interacts in strange and interesting ways. And you can sort of feel this flowing around you at all times as you pass through it like a fish in a river. The weave has touched this ring in some way. With it cracked, the magic is gone, but you can still feel the remnants of those threads of magic woven into it, sort of dangling in the air. And the longer this time goes by, the more those threads will become more and more intangible. But there was magic has touched this ring at some point in the past.
Okay.
That's about all you can tell. You can't tell what it was doing, but it was touched by magic. So, as you head out of the village, are you going to attempt to follow the tracks of the wagon, or are you going to head straight on to Knight's Valor Keep?
Well, I think with the information we got, I think it's time. I think Sinclair would certainly start heading just in the direction of Knight's Valor Keep. He would have deducted that, this is where he's going to get answers. This is where he's got to go.
Yep.
And Caesar will be on the same sort of track of mine there. With that.
Anna would, the same, because I feel like they're wanting the same thing at the minute.
Yeah.
She would think,
Twilight's just going to follow. She doesn't really mind. She's just on for the ride.
Okay. Who would be taking the lead?
I'll go first.
Okay, cool. Can you roll me a d20? This is going to be an encounter die to determine if something happens on the road.
Ooh, fun. 18.
Can you please roll me a perception check as you're in the front?
Whew.
Actually, no, tell a lie. Who's at the back?
He's the big guy. Sinclair will take up the rear.
Okay, so, I bet he does. Sinclair, can you please roll me a perception check?
Oh god, that is dog shit. That is 9.
Okay. You're pretty sure they've spotted you before you spot them, but you eventually hear cries for help from behind you, and coming up the road behind you, you see another group of soldiers with a wagon full of what appear to be villagers. None that you recognize. You suspect this may have been from another village, but there's a wagon with 6 soldiers flanking it, full of people. They have spotted you, so you have no chance to hide, but what would you do? You're also on a fairly open road. There are fields either side of you, so there's sort of nothing to hide behind. It's fairly open terrain at this point.
Listen, I don't like this plan any more than any of you would be thinking, but look, they're not going to attack us if we don't. Let's just follow them.
I agree.
Look, in the shape I'm in now, I can't take more hits from them.
Ooh.
And he points to the blood coming from his shoulder.
As much as I want to help, I'm in the same boat. I am in no way to fight right now. And we will be no use of them whether we fight or not right now, so let's try and carry on and try and help at a later time.
Good plan, guys. Down for that. Play it cool. Help later on.
Follow from a distance and just see what happens.
It's an awfully pragmatic approach.
Okay, are they coming from behind us? Are we going to have to move out the way?
They're coming from behind you. Yeah, I was about to ask, do you try to stay ahead of them, or do you step to the side of the road and let them pass?
Step past? Let them pass?
Yeah, maybe let's go to the side of the road, pretend we're arguing about directions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the road's wide enough that you could just step over to the side of the road and that you could they could walk past you if you let them.
Yeah, I'm going to step aside for my hand will be on the axe just in case. It won't be in hand, it'll just kind of resting on my hilt.
Yeah. So they come past you, the soldiers show you no interest at all. They barely even look at you as they go past. The people in the cage, on the other hand, women, children, men, are crying out for you to help them.
Oh, God.
They see the 4 of you standing there. They reach their hands out of the cage towards you, begging to be rescued. They don't know what's happening. They don't know why these soldiers have captured them. They don't know where they're going. They just want help.
Okay. Can I... Oh, gosh.
Oh, Sinclair's going to do something bad.
Can I cast Mage Hand?
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and unlock the lock on the cage.
Unfortunately, the ability to use Mage Hand with Thieves' Tools is a feature specific to Arcane Tricksters, which you can't get until 3rd level.
Well...
So you could attempt to, jimmy the handle, but as you have rightfully guessed, this thing is locked. If nobody reacts, they are going to trundle past, weeping and crying for help.
Sinclair will... No, go on, Deadly.
Before he does something stupid.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm just gonna, can I use thaumaturgy to, throw my voice into the cage and be like, we're going the same way?
Jesus.
I'd allow it. Oh, well, actually, no, hold on. So, because that could be brutally abused later.
True. I'll just yell it as they go past. Yeah. We're going the same way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've shown that the soldiers do not fucking react at all. If you want to yell it, then yeah.
Yeah, Sinclair will do the same. We will save you, I promise. I promise.
They don't look particularly comforted by that. But when they realize that you're definitely not going to help them, they stop crying for your help and they just sort of look resigned. Most of them are just literally crying at this point, but they're not shouting out for your assistance anymore. They're just looking resigned to their fate at this point, and the cage and the soldiers trundle past. What sort of distance do you plan on keeping from them?
Well, they did that. I'm assuming they didn't react when we were right next to them.
Oh no, the soldiers, the ones closest to you would have kept an eye on you, like they would have watched you as you were near them, but they didn't react to literally anything you did.
Okay, say we follow, 40, 50 foot behind them? I know that's close, but would they react?
Not that you can tell.
Well, in that, we'll keep that sort of distance.
Okay.
If that's all right with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys continue on. You follow behind them at that sort of keep them in eyesight until you can spot on the horizon Knight's Valor Keep and the town surrounding it. As it comes over the horizon into line of sight, you see a small town. It looks like many others that most of you would have passed or even spent a night in, with signs from a distance that life is going on as normal. Once you're close enough to make out the gate on this road, your impression of the city becomes a bit clearer. There's certainly life in this city, but it appears muted. Even at this distance, you can tell there's something not quite right. But for all of that, it appears that everything is normal, with people going about their working lives. You can see guards posted at the gate, checking any who try to enter. They wear similar armour to the soldiers that you've encountered before, however, they bear the colours of the knight ruling this town. They look dejected and miserable. The cart ahead of you reaches the gate. The soldiers there exchange words. One hands over what appears to be some sort of note to one of the guards in the gate. The guards nod, wave them in, and then close the gate behind them and wait for you to approach.
Before we go in, I'm just gonna gesture to everyone to maybe get in a little bit closer, so I can just whisper talk, and go, guys. I don't know if you guys are getting this impression, but I feel like when we go in there and we tell them that we want to help, that there's a good chance that they might make us into those people. We might all be getting new rings, and there's no coming back from that. And now I like jewelry as much as the next person, but I don't want to risk it. I didn't come on this adventure for this, so maybe we should just stay on guard. And if anybody offers jewelry, we all say no, yes? We all say no.
No to jewelry. Noted.
Yes, especially you, Twilight. No to jewelry. I know that's your thing, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Welcome to Knight's Valor Keep. Here, have a commemorative ring.
And I feel like it goes without saying, I think in a place like this, we should stick close together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to risk ourselves being seen on our own, especially if we're looking for people.
Yeah, do we say that we're here for, we're replying to the advert, or...
We are simply here for a job.
I mean, yeah.
The fact that we saw these men kidnap people, they won't be aware of it, but we are.
Good idea.
Yeah, we don't have to mention what we've seen so far. We're just here to accept the job.
Correct. Then we do some scouting around, find out where they're keeping these people, and then we get them the fuck out of there.
Good plan. Let's
go.
Yeah, with your discussion concluded, you walk towards the gate of the town. Hey guys, just taking a quick break from the episode to tell you about our sponsor for this episode. That's right, we have our first episode sponsorship, and it comes from the amazing Applewhite Games. They have a fantastic Kickstarter called Journey to the Center of Eragarth. It's a D&D 5e setting and campaign, complete with maps, character art, and a separate adventure written just for children, as well as a new ooze-based subrace. Honestly, I've looked over the Kickstarter and there is so much content that you get with it. And you can get all of it in PDF format for only $10 US. Really recommend it. Don't miss it out. The Kickstarter itself ends on February 28th, so you've still got a couple of weeks to go and check it out. We'll have a link for it in the description. And while I have your attention here just for a minute, I'd also like to shout out a wonderful charity that we are helping to support. The guys over at the Roleplay Haven have teamed up with a whole host of UK publishers to raise money for NHS charities together through a bespoke charity t-shirt fundraiser which has launched at the beginning of this month. Obviously, in the last couple of years, the NHS service has undergone a lot of stress. There have been, a lot of unneeded pressure applied to them, and a lot of the staff have struggled under this additional pressure. For this reason, the NHS charities together help to provide extra support and services needed to care for the staff, patients, and improve the health in our communities. They work with a network of over 230 NHS charities, listening to teams on the ground and invest in projects that help the NHS go further than what otherwise would be possible through standard government funding alone. The Roleplay Haven t-shirt campaign will help them to fund things like counselling and the creation of outdoor spaces to improve staff and patient well-being, new technology and special equipment to enhance patient care, training and equipment for thousands of emergency response volunteers to help save lives in local communities, and to research into the long-term health conditions such as long COVID, as well as many others. So to show your support, you can purchase the Roll for Charity t-shirt, which features bespoke, never-before-seen artwork, which has been created exclusively for this campaign by the veteran TTRPG artist Jason Juta. And additionally, when you buy a t-shirt, you will also receive an additional one-off gift from each of the Roleplay Haven sponsors in the form of PDFs, discount coupons, and physical books. The estimated value of that bundle is over £100, and includes Britannia Game, EN Publishing, Handiwork Games, Magnum Opus Press, Modiphius Entertainment, Nightfall Games, Red Scars, and Son of Oak. There is a link in the description for where you can buy the t-shirts. Alternatively, you can head over to the rphaven.co.uk website and find it there. The t-shirts only cost £18, and a minimum of £8 per sale will be donated to the NHS charities together. So that's £18, and you're getting a bundle of over £100 of content that has all been donated to help this campaign. So please, guys, go and have a look at this. Through this, we can all do a little bit to help the NHS going forward when they have been struggling so hard for the last couple of years. But please be aware, in order to maximise fulfilment, this charity is only running until the 16th. So from the date of this episode coming up, you only have 5 days to buy a t-shirt and show your support. So please, I cannot stress enough, go and have a look into this, and if you can, please help them out. But that's it for now, so back to the show. As you approach, one of the guards holds up a hand, and as you get pretty close, you can see him rubbing the bridge of his nose and sucking in a breath through his teeth. Afternoon. What brings you to Knight's Valor Keep?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Sinclair. I'm here to, and my party, we're all here to accept a job that was posted. We were told to report here to Knight's Valor Keep.
Oh, you're more of those monster hunting adventurer types, yeah?
Yeah, yes, that's the sort.
I'll just nod.
Yeah, if you want to report to the Keep tomorrow about 10 a.m, they'll be taking in the possible recruits, explaining the job. Until then, you're free to peruse the town. Obviously, and his colleague sort of joins at this point. Just keep yourselves to yourselves, don't cause any trouble, and there's a couple of inns to choose from. That's about it.
Don't worry, we shall be on our best behaviour.
Yeah, the first one sort of rubbing the bridge of his nose again. Yeah, and he sort of waves above him, and the gate begins to open, and he waves you through.
Anna's going to turn to Twilight and go, wow, that was such a warm welcome. I'm so glad we came here.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
They literally are not paying attention to you in the slightest. They're not even... As soon as you're past them, they just stop. You have ceased to exist to them at this point.
Twilight's going to put her hood up, just out of practice, because she knows that she's kind of covered in jewels and things. So going into a new place might be, and this one hasn't been the most welcoming. Well, not welcoming, just like she gets the vibes. So I'm just gonna put her hood up.
Yeah. So as you walk through the streets of this town, you spot that there's nothing really wrong. You can't put your finger on any one thing being out of place or being strange. People move about their business as normal, and you're surrounded by the sounds of a city going about its business. The air is permeated by the malingering presence, though, which leaves you feeling listless and bereft of energy the longer you stay here. This feeling is apparently reflected in the eyes of the people you pass. You can see a haunted expression in many people as they bustle through the streets. The longer you walk here, the more morose you feel, and the very colour of the world seems to be leached from the things around you. Most of the streets seem to run to the city centre, to the very centre of the town, not the city, the very centre of the town, where you can see what gives it its name, the Knights Valor Keep. It's a basic stone stronghold, outside of which is a training ground and a smaller stone squat building. And the 4 cardinal streets run that direction, but surrounding you now there are a collection of shops and taverns and the like. What would you guys like to do? Bearing in mind it is now just after midday-ish. Actually, no, tell lies, I said it was nearly a day's full journey. It's getting towards evening time at this point.
Well, I think that we should find a place to stay for the night and make a plan.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like this town it's like making me feel really like
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is it giving anyone else like the ooky spooky vibes? I just don't know.
It does feel almost draining. This.
Yeah, like I feel tired.
Yeah.
Twilight, could you give me a perception check, please?
We? Natural 20.
Yes. Full
As
house.
As you're walking along with your hood up and your cloak sort of covered over most of your apparel, you can feel it being twitched aside, and you can feel a slight lightness on your arm as one of your bracelets seems to have gone missing. But with a natural 20, you feel it the instant this happens, and you spin around to see a small halfling, not quite child, you'd probably say adolescent, hand disappearing into their coat pocket and a flash of gold.
Oi!
When you shout, the halfling startles, looks over its shoulder at you, and tries to take off.
Can I like...
Sinclair with his long stride is going to run after them.
I mean, with Twilight caught this immediately happening. As soon as if you twig onto what's happening, and they barely get a couple of steps away, like they only come up to you about your thigh, you just reach out and just grab them by the scruff of the neck.
Now, what are you up to?
They sort of look sullenly up at you as like, well, I was trying to thief from your mate there, but you seem to have caught me, so at the minute I'm dangling 3 feet off the ground.
Correct. You didn't do very well at your job. I'd give it back if I were you. I can put you a lot higher.
They roll their eyes, pull the bangle back out of their pocket, and sort of like flick it to Twilight.
She'll like try to catch it and drop.
Happy?
Indeed. Halfling, did you say?
Halfling. Ginger hair, sort of freckly face.
Sinclair will put the halfling slowly down, and in halfling he'll say, I wouldn't try that again. You're not very big. I am. I'll find you again.
I will, big lad. You're not the first big lad that I've seen. And I'm sure I'll manage. And they just take off.
Anna's gonna find that hilarious.
Well, you didn't understand that because it was halfling.
Oh no, I don't.
Unless you
no, I don't.
So you two hear them gibbering on in some heathen tongue, and then the halfling takes off.
Yeah, the word when the halfling says "big lad," it reminds Sinclair of Horwick slightly, and he has a slight smile, and then is instantly, brought back into the energy of the city. What happiness is gone?
Where is my happiness?
Well, that sets up this town rather nicely, doesn't it?
What did you say to that weird child? Like, you sounded in a different...
I grew up in a town with lots of halflings, so I speak a bit of the tongue, so I simply told him that I was bigger than him and I'd find him again if he turned his hand to thieving once more from us.
Nice. Snappy.
So with that little interaction, you continue on into the tower. You don't get robbed again. And what do you guys want to do?
I feel like we should go and find somewhere to rest, maybe, because no offense, but you guys are looking a little bit rough.
Says the one who slept in her armor.
I know, but I feel great. So, jokes on you.
I think find some food, find some information. Taverns are always a good place.
Yeah, we're not, like I said, we're not of any use to anyone right now. We need to heal up.
Yes, rest and food and information.
So I assume we look for the nearest inn then.
Yeah, maybe we should have asked that child where the nearest inn was.
To be honest, I think I should have asked him a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's completely skipped my mind. This city is draining me into blood loss.
I have this strange feeling that someone is very upset with me.
Blame it on the city.
I feel that Paylor isn't very happy right now.
You wander the streets and a couple of buildings down, you come across what appears to be an inn called Steel Talon's Hearth. And the sign out the front is what appears to be a iron claw resting on the top of a standard burning hearth.
Yeah, Sinclair will head inside.
Cool. You head inside. It is bustling in here at the minute. Similar to outside, there's things seem to be going on as normal, but things are muted. Like people are talking, but there's not the raucous sound you would expect in a town's inn of this size. People are drinking, but there doesn't seem to be much merriment. But as you come inside, there are plenty of people around. And again, slightly larger city or slightly larger town, people are still surprised to see, your types in and about, but obviously there have been more adventures of late, so people are giving you a glance when you walk in, but they don't all stop and stare. The room doesn't stop when you enter like it did in the village. So what do you all do?
Head to the bar and see if we can get rooms for each of us.
While my Dragonborn friend does that, Sinclair is going to sort of scan the room for anyone who looks like they could be worthy of asking some questions.
Yep. So we'll go with Cecil first. If you're going up to the bar to get room and board. Behind the bar, funnily enough, also polishing a glass, is a elven woman, sort of middle-aged, looking fairly tired, but pretty welcoming as well. As she approaches, she says, more adventures in town then. You'd be looking for room and board then?
Yeah, we're probably going to be here maybe a couple of nights. Do you have any rooms available for...
How many rooms you need? How many beds?
4.
You want them all in the same room?
How much is a room?
For a single bed, 5 silver a night. For 2, 7. Or we can stick you all in one room together for 10 silver a night.
I will look back to whatever the party's doing and think a moment, and I'll look back and I'll take the one room.
So 10 silver a night for all of you. Fair enough. That includes your food in the evening and the morning. It'll be an extra silver a day if you want access to the hot bath.
Okay.
Do you hand over the money? Do you want to get any drinks or food while you're there?
I'll just get one of drinks for everyone.
Yeah. You buy a round of drinks, we'll say it costs you a silver to get everyone a drink.
Okay.
Your first meal is covered by the room. I'll bring you over something to eat as soon as you're settled.
Alright. And I'll go and try and grab a seat somewhere.
Okay. I'm assuming to have the rest of you, I know, Sinclair, you said you were looking for someone to talk to. Are you walking around the room, or have you gone to find a table and you're just listening into conversations?
He'll first sort of scan the room to see if there's anyone, sitting by themselves who look like, maybe, give a bit of, loose lips and let some things slip.
Roll me an insight check.
That is a 14.
As you scan the room, you can see a lot of, people who look like they run local businesses, a couple of maybe people dressing to do outdoors work. Maybe they've been working outside the town during the day, but they come here for the evening. You do spot one person who appears to be less, well, miserable is probably the term, than everyone else. They appear to be dressed like a traveling merchant. You suspect they probably haven't been in the town particularly long, but similar to you, are starting to feel the effects of being in the town.
Interesting. Yeah, Sinclair's going to approach him.
Okay. You walk over, he's sat at a table by himself with a drink in front of him. He sees you coming and says, hail, Paladin?
Indeed. May I join you?
By all means, please, pull up a chair.
Sort of, the chair sort of squeezes slightly under the weight of Sinclair.
Probably should have described him as well. He is a half-elf.
Okay.
He's got a bit of swarthy skin from being out in the sun from travelling, dressed decently. You wouldn't expect, at a stab in the dark, you wouldn't suspect he's like selling gold bars, but he's obviously a travelling merchant. It's always going to do fairly well if he's a merchant. So he's dressed in decent clothes. It's not threadbare or full of holes or anything, but you wouldn't feed your family for a year if you sold them either. He sort of gestures to the seat in front of you. You sit down.
Well, with with your dress, my good man, I would assume that you're not from this neck of the woods.
Well spotted. No, just travelling through. I stop by through Knight's Valor on most of my journeys, sell off a few things, buy up a couple of others on the way. Yourself as well. You're not from around these parts, if I were to take a guess.
No, indeed, no. I come from a town quite far from here, on the river. Came here to accept a job.
Let me guess. Another adventuring type here to kill the monsters?
Very astute of you, indeed.
I ran into a couple on the road.
Which way did you come in, out of curiosity?
Would you believe I have a table for this? From the north. Come down from Cairn. I was picking up a few items there, travelling down this way and heading further south into the plains. You would be aware of Cairn. It is a heavily fortified city. It sits on the sort of entrance to the sort of northern, more like plains. It's not like a wasteland, but more like plainsy, arid area. It's one of the few places where there's still like commonly conflict, usually from orcish tribes sending raiding parties into the more prosperous southern lands.
I think Sinclair would probably know a little bit of that from his mother's teachings of what she knew of
his
father.
You'd be aware of Cairn.
So, yeah.
It's the one place where like fighting with orcs is still fairly common.
Ah, yes, Cairn. Yes, I know. I've heard of the place, never had the pleasure of going there myself.
So, for the history of the place, it is a surprisingly nice city to stay in, even with the constant threat of conflict. It's the city is well enough fortified that nobody inside the walls has had to worry about, well, any of the conflict really for a number of years now. Now, the men on the walls, different story, but as long as you're on the inside and not standing on top, there's not very much can go wrong.
So what sort of volume would you say of adventurers were heading down here?
Oh, I believe like 2 passed me on the road. I've been travelling, like I said, down from the north. I only arrived a couple of days ago, passed 2 on the way in, seen a few more staying in and about the towns. I know they have meetings every couple of days when the new adventurers come in. They take them up to the keep and don't know what happens in them in there, but afterwards they get sent off monster hunting or whatever it is they're doing.
Have you ever seen any walking the other way in recent times?
Oh, like I said, I've seen them heading out. Yeah, I've seen a few of the adventurers heading out, sent off on their own, usually with some sort of signet or symbol of the Lord here to indicate that they're doing his work.
Would you say they act strange?
Well, funny enough, the ones heading out tend to be less talkative, but I assume that's usually because they've got a job to do and they're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. But
interesting.
Yeah, a little odd. Then I have noticed that pretty much everyone who spends any length of time in this city now acts a bit odd.
Yes, I was going to say to you that we've not been in the city for probably more than an hour and a bit, and it's very strange. The atmosphere.
Yeah, it started some time ago. I don't tend to spend more than a couple of days in here if I can avoid it now, but it's been very strange, I'll say that much.
So how often would you say you come through these parts then?
Oh, maybe once a month, once every couple of months. Depends on how business is going down south and how quickly I need to return for any items.
Interesting. Would you say the town's fairly similar all that time?
Well, like I say, this feeling sort of set in a couple of years ago. It's started off quite mild, but it's been this way for the better part of a year now.
Interesting. So sorry for the question. As I say, I'm not from these parts. I just find intrigue.
No, you're not the first to ask. Yeah, you're not the first to ask, and I'm sure you won't be the last. I believe the Lord is looking into it. He thinks it might be some sort of malady that's set into the area, but they haven't worked out the cause for it quite yet.
Interesting. Well, if there's that's all I've really got. If I can leave you to your own devices if you would like.
Very kind. I have no plans for the evening, but by all means, I see you came in with a party. I'll not keep you from them.
Thank you. And what's your name?
Oh, I do apologize. My name is Zinan. Zinnan.
Pleasure to meet you, Zinan. And he'll hold his rather large hand out. My name is Sinclair. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He takes your hand and shakes it. Yes, and yourself. Hopefully we'll run into each other again on the road.
I hope so. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, and good evening to you.
And to you.
And Sinclair will join the rest of the party.
Okay. So when Cecil went to the bar and Sinclair wandered off to talk to this merchant, Anna and Twilight, what would the two of you have done?
So I want to turn to her and be like, so, do you think I should have taken a ring, not a tooth? Is that where is the tooth the thing that people are like stuck on?
Yeah, the tooth is absolutely what everyone's stuck on, Twilight. I mean, the ring would have been completely normal. I mean, we're like on a mission, so maybe like the ring should have been your first thought, like evidence. Maybe not teeth.
Okay.
Teeth is just a step too far.
Okay, noted. I'm gonna keep the one I've got though because it's really cool.
I mean, yeah, maybe keep that to yourself because I feel like I know for sure that I definitely don't want to see it, and I'm pretty sure nobody else does. But you know what? If that makes you happy, then you keep it.
Okay, and then she's just gonna whisper under her breath, "Secret tooth."
Secret tooth. Okay, you still having that conversation. Cecil comes back. He informs you all that he's paid for a room for the night. You've all got your bed and board paid for, and then eventually Sinclair will return.
Ooh, thank you for paying.
Once you all get settled, the food is brought over. You all have your drinks. Would you guys be discussing the day, or are you just like sort of listening into the conversations around you?
Yeah, Sinclair will be listening into other people's conversations.
Okay, what about the rest of you?
Same with Anna. She's gonna be like trying to listen to see if anybody's mentioned anything like weird happening, like out of the ordinary that they've witnessed.
Well, funny you should say that. After you've been seated there about half an hour or so, I'm not going to make you roll for it because it becomes the talk of the inn. A man comes in. He appears to be wearing sort of travelling gear. You can tell he's been on the road. And he enters the bar and strikes up a conversation with one of his, he sees one of his people, someone he knows, and he walks up to him and says, "You'll not believe what I've just heard. I've just been coming in off the road. And apparently one of the villages down to the south, one of the farming villages, apparently some of the knights were sent out because they heard about some monster attack. Slaughtered every one of them.
Oh.
They still don't know what's done it. All they know is that every single soldier who was sent out on that party is dead."
Shit.
Oh no.
Okay.
Sinclair will stand up and approach the man. A village to the south, you say?
Yes. Good grief.
Sorry about my size can catch people off guard. Very sorry.
No, it's fine. Just don't get many of your size in here. One of the villages to the south, a farming village. Apparently, there had been some monster attacks recently. The Lord sent a couple of soldiers down to help protect it, see if they could find the source of the attacks, and something has just wiped them out. The news only came back about half an hour ago. Then apparently the Lord is already beginning to write he's going to start drafting men. Apparently, trying to pull together as much of a standing army as possible, and then so they can determine the safety of all the villages. They're going to have them sweep the area, check for any monsters, and check in on all the villages to the south. Apparently, anyone who signs up is going to be paid handsomely and awarded a what do they call it? A token of the knight's favour. Apparently, it's a ring worth a month's salary. Anyone who joins gets given one of these, along with the reward for taking part in this monster sweep.
Sounds like a worthy prize.
Yeah, and I'm certainly going. Like, a ring.
Signing up, are you?
Yeah, first thing in the morning, we've been told to arrive at the keep at sunrise. They're going to pull together, give us all weapons, and I can't turn down an offer like that. That's I wouldn't have to work for a couple of months on the pay they're offering.
But he's sending in adventurers like us. Why risk yourself when we'll do the work for you?
Well, this is the first time all the soldiers have been killed. Like, up until now, it's been the occasional attack, but that there hasn't been a band of soldiers murdered like this since it began. It's becoming too dangerous to leave. No offense, but it's becoming too dangerous to leave to the likes of adventurers like you. They need, they need an army to sort this out now. Apparently.
Well, fair enough. It would obviously seem the Lord knows what's best. Well, good luck to you.
Oh, yeah, and to you. Thank you.
Yes,
and goes back to talking, and as the night sort of goes on, this becomes sort of like more people come in with this news, more conversations get struck up, people talking about, imagine what you could do with that money. I'm going to sign up. I could sell that ring, and that could pay for the dowry for my my daughter's wedding, and all these conversations strike up around the inn.
Yes, Sinclair is going to whisper to Anna. I think we've got a bigger problem here than we previously thought.
Yeah, maybe we should find somewhere a bit more private to talk.
Yes, yes, I'm getting tired. Bedtime, I think.
Yeah, I think we should...
Just have the worst headache ever.
And he'll again whisper into Anna's ear, check the perimeter.
I'm going to go and do like a once-over of the tavern.
Yeah, as you guys head out, head up to the bar, you sweep the room. Nobody seems to be, like, I'm not going to make you roll for it, there's nobody following you, no shady characters skulking in the rafters to chase you upstairs. You can head up without any prying eyes following you. As far as as far as everyone here is aware, you're a bunch of adventurers who have waltzed into town for a job. Nobody really cares. Everyone's a bit too excited talking about this money they could be making tomorrow. So you all head up the stairs. You've got one of the larger rooms. You head inside, 4 separate beds, wash basins, and a couple of trunks for storage. But it's just a clean room, which is all you can really ask for. You close and lock the door behind you.
So, would we have? How close would the conversation have been? We all have been able to hear it, or?
I mean, I imagine if the other two had heard wind of it, especially after Sinclair went and spoke to the guy, like, he would have told you all, like, listen to what's happening. I'm going to assume at this point, even if you didn't hear someone else directly talking about it, Sinclair's probably given you the gist without it, without sounding suspicious. He's probably relayed.
Yeah, and because that guy was quite loud as well, Sinclair would have sort of been quite loud as well with him, almost so the tavern could hear.
Yeah. Oh, really? A month's wages?
Oh, really? Yeah, and the kind of, we're the dopey outsiders. We don't know what's going on.
I don't know about you guys, but this attack, they said it came from myself, and it's sounding a lot like us. Now, with these rings that's being offered, do you think it might be these rings?
I think there's a good chance it could be these rings.
Well, considering the ringed fellows we followed all the way here came from here, I think it's absolutely, yes. Yes, I would say so.
And they might be marking adventurers as...
No longer just adventurers, my friend.
Yeah.
Townsfolk now. Yeah. A militia. Think of how many we fought. He's going to have an army of them. If it's not the Lord, it's someone.
Okay. This is not what I expected when I came here. But
I agreed.
I don't have the words to really explain what my head's going, like, what's going through my head. I don't know how we obviously need to go and find out. Okay, so I assume these. Well, who knows? Jesus. Okay, I don't really even know what to say. So I assume they're getting given these rings at some point. We don't know if it's before or after. I assume before. I guess.
Well, apparently they're all meeting at sunrise tomorrow, which means that a large number of people are going to be giving rings.
So we either could go and pretend like we're willing to join this adventure to kill a load of monsters, which we would be going out to kill ourselves because we are said monsters, but or we could stealth out the place and spy and find out what they're doing without actually going in there.
Indeed.
Am I the real monster?
Are we the baddies?
We just killed people that were us, like, today. Like, if we didn't see all this happen, then we could have been those people. How crazy is that?
Absolutely. I suspect if we go to this keep tomorrow, they're going to try and give us rings as payment, and then we'll become like them, except we won't look like them. We'll be a freakish version of them.
And there, but for the grace of Paylor, go I.
To say that we've walked into some serious shit. I don't quite know how to deal with this. This wasn't in the manual.
You have a manual?
Apparently. This is what Father Bird said. He always said to follow the manual of Paylor and he'll guide you. I think he meant the scriptures, but I didn't take it as that.
This certainly was not part of my training, so this is something entirely different for me as well.
Ooh.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that I don't even know, like, anything about you guys, and now we're going to, like, I don't know, going straight into this, like, head first, and we don't even know anything about each other. It's crazy.
So now we're going to play 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
I was literally going to say, we should play spin the bottle.
Then we're going to do a trust fall.
Yeah, so maybe let's think of a plan. I mean, I guess, oh goodness. I mean, we definitely need to rest, but we also have no idea where we're going.
I guess we need to decide if we're going to do this tomorrow or if we're going to sneak out tonight.
Well,
Sinclair will kind of look at the grievous wound on his shoulder. As much as I'd love to go running into battle right this second, I think sleep would be a good idea.
I mean, I'm looking pretty good at the minute. So, I mean, I could go and, like, scout out.
Don't split the party.
I mean, if you want to go and scout, I will by all means I will go and stand watch.
But I mean, I mentioned before that, especially in this place, we do not want to be far apart from each other.
Yeah, so I think if we're going to go and scout, we need to stick together. Which, you know, what time would you say it is around about by now, DM?
So everyone would have come in talking about dinner time. Like, you would have got there to, like, just about sort of started dinner time. So by the time these other guys have come in, it's probably like 8 o'clock at this point. So it's still light outside. But, you know, if you were going to sleep now, again, without being, you know, a dictator about it, you could realistically get up a couple of hours before sunrise and still have had a full night's rest.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, do we want to go and scout this place tonight, or do we want to go in the morning?
The thing is, if we go and scout out tonight, we don't know if we're going to come across any trouble, and I know you've said, Sinclair, but I too am not ready for battle right now. If any trouble comes our way, I'm in favour of trying to get up early in the morning, try and beat the sunrise, and try and get out there.
Because what we could do is go and scout out the keep, and then we could even then head over to this gathering, wherever it may be, of people and see what's going on.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to rest and go tomorrow morning.
Okay, then. I think we're all in agreement on that aspect, then.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is slumber party.
With that, you guys have made a rough plan for the next day. You settle in, you tend to your wounds from the day, those of you who have them. Those of you who don't, I don't know, I guess start playing spin the bottle or something, whatever it was Twilight wanted to do. You settle in for the night and you do your best to relax. It's difficult with this feeling in the air, even beyond the troubling news that you've heard and the frankly terrifying day you've had. Just being in this area, this city, saps the very willpower from your body. It doesn't have any physical or lasting effect on you, but there's just this sense of this lingering, almost depression in the air. And with that feeling, you bed down for the night, preparing yourselves for what is sure to be an even more terrifying day tomorrow. And with that, we're going to end the first session. Well, that's it for another episode. Thanks for sticking with us. As usual, I'd like to thank Lixie B and Jeff for the wonderful logo and character art they created for us, the Stormweather Shanty Choir for letting us use their song Drunken Sailor as our theme tune, DN Dice for sponsoring us, and all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who have been helping us out. Our recommended podcast for this episode is the Vicky's World podcast. These guys are a bunch of London-based comics playing Dungeons & Dragons together. I actually got to see these guys live at Dragon Meet last year. They were very funny, and I highly recommend them. Not only that, but one of our new players, Danny, got to feature on their Christmas special this year, which was also very entertaining to watch on the live stream. So that's Vicky's World, and there will be a link for their podcast in the description. Do stick around at the end. We have a promo lined up. This week it is for the Lovely Craftians, who you've probably heard us shouting out in the past. But they've just come back from a hiatus similar to ourselves, so we wanted to throw up their new promo to help give them a bit of a boost. So if you haven't checked them out already, go and do so now. Listen to the promo first and then go and do so. They are a Call of Cthulhu, all-female based actual play podcast. I've been listening to them for years and I really, really enjoy them, so stick around for that promo at the end. But other than that, that's it for this week. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you soon.
We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. And yet here we are, in defiance of Lovecraft, laughing through the darkness. The Lovely Craftians is an all-ladies Call of Cthulhu actual play podcast with horror, humor, and no small amount of chaos set in an occasionally familiar modern-day Chicago. Brought to you by Wampus House Productions and the Penwich Studio Network, you can find the Lovelies on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcatcher, or anytime over at lovelycraftians.com. And remember, you never roll sanity alone here.